Hello and welcome to French Property Renovations, and today we're talking plumbing, and I'm going to show you a few tips and little things like that today. But basically, for the summer my bath was over here outside, and I was filling up bottles of water, 1.5 litres, leaving them out in the sunshine, getting the solar gain, filling my bath up in the evening, having a bath outside looking over the view of my field. Getting towards winter now, so on the other side of this window I've put my bath now. It's a double-ended bath, so the waste is in the middle, and the waste basically is going to come through this stone wall, and where the underneath of the window is, that's the thinnest part of the wall. It's probably about 12 inches thick instead of 2 foot thick, so I'm going to save myself a bit of work and put a hole low down here. Because I have no fosse septic, as they say in French, which is a septic tank, I had a big pit in my field previously, and I think it was used for repairing the tractors and stuff, so I reduced the size of it, made it into a fire pit, and now I'm going to use it basically to run the waste from my bath to. So I want to do it as cheaply as possible and what have you, and obviously I need to get the waste from there to there. So plumbing fittings and plumbing pipe and everything nowadays is pretty expensive, so I bought 4 lengths of pipe, which will get me from A to B, and I could have bought sockets, but it's more money. So what I'm going to try and do today is, with the few tools I've got and what have you, I'm going to try and show you a little tip here. And let me show you. I have a piece of pipe here. They're coming 4 metre lengths, but this one isn't the best. I don't know if you can see that, but if you look at it, it's been cut by hand, and it's not the best cut in the world. But there's 2 kinds of pipe now. There's one kind of pipe that you can use for solvent weld, where you can put fittings together, you can glue them, and that makes the seal. Or there's what they call push fit, where you push a fitting over it and you mechanically tighten the fitting. So the 2 pipes have a different feel about them, and you're looking for something like this, PVC, it's got stamped on here, and this is 40mm, so it doesn't actually fit my waste trap that I brought from England, but this is slightly smaller, and I'm going to make it bigger by warming the end up and putting another piece of pipe in it, or putting it onto the trap. So basically now I'm not going to glue these, because I'm going to hopefully try and reuse them. So what I want, the flow's going away from the house, so this piece of pipe I want to socket on this one, with the other pipe going inside this, so when the water flows down it, there's less chance of it leaking. But if it does leak, it's outside, so it's not a major problem. But that's harder to make a socket in it, because it's not square, and this end is the manufactured end, and obviously that's a lot better. But what we need to do, we need to insert one part into the other pipe to make the socket. Now usually, because I've got the experience, I would probably lie these on the floor so they're horizontal, one to the other. I mean, look at this pipe's like a banana. But anyway, so yes, I would make 2 long pieces and join the 2 together, do it on the floor, but because I'm trying to show yourselves how to do it, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a short piece that I can then use as the socket former. So when you're cutting pipe, hacksaw, you need to make sure that the blade is 90 degrees with your pipe. So you don't want to be cutting it like that, because you get a skew with cut, or like that. So you need to be 90 degrees. The easiest way to do that is to hold the pipe horizontal and position your head over the top of the pipe, so you're kind of looking at the blade of the hacksaw, and then that'll give you a straight cut, or relatively straight. A bit of practice obviously, but if you position yourself like that to make the cut, it's far easier. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to get a ladder quickly here and sit it there. So as the French would say, voila. So I have a ladder. So I'm now going to cut it. You wonder why I run around. I hate editing. I'm a plumber. I'm not a video editor, and I hate spending loads of my time doing that. I'm trying to renovate my house, build some equity in it, sweat equity. So I'm going to cut a piece round about 4 inches, about this much. And if you bring it towards yourself and put your head above your blade, like I said, and then cut it, you don't have to go red super fast. And if you hold it to your body, it stops the movement a bit. And basically every forward stroke is when you want to push down so that the teeth are engaging, and just relax when you pull the hacksaw backwards. And that's how you use a hacksaw. And you have to make sure the blade's in the right way, of course. So we might as well have a little discussion about that. Hacksaw blade. Usually when they're brand new, it'll have a little arrow, and the arrow needs to point to the front of the hacksaw, and then the teeth are going that way. Sometimes you can turn the blade round depending on what the job is, but when they're all worn like that, just have a good look at the blades and see which way the teeth are showing, and the teeth need to be going that way to the front, so you're cutting on a downward stroke. Anyway, we have a piece now. Now this piece, I've already filed it, but basically we're chamfering the edges like this, and what that's doing, if you look at that, it's creating a nice 45-ish degree edge, and this end is all full of burrs. Now that burr, if that was in a pipe, we want to just take the file and run it round the edges like that. And you can also do it on the outside, because what happens, those burrs are basically what gets hair caught on it and things like that, and they block your drains up. So for the sake of a couple of minutes, it's easy. I don't know why people don't do it. But look, that's that one. That's that one, nice and neat and cut, and you can see down it there's no burrs, nothing for any debris to catch on. Everything should work your way to your drains. It's less important for me because mine's going outside. So I've now got this one where I've cut it, and this is where I'm going to try and create a socket. So again, I'm going to take all the burrs off like so on the inside, because what I'm going to try and do is shove the small piece inside this. So I've got a 45-degree chamfer on this, on that one, and now I'm going to put a little bit of a chamfer on this one, just so they'll go into each other nicely. And that's that, and we'll just do the edge just to neatens it up, doesn't it? So, as you can see, all the burrs on there, and if you run your fingers round like that, it'll take all the burrs off. There you go. And that makes for a nice clean, can't see down that, can you, because it's so bent. But anyway, with the sunlight, when the sunlight and everything is on these pipes over time, even though they're outside, they'll probably go all wavy and wonky. So I might be able to reuse them again, I might not, but it's going to serve a purpose, and I don't want to spend a lot of money on it. Hence I've not bought glue, I've not bought sockets or anything like that. I'm just relying on all of this. So this piece now, the fundamentals of this is that chamfered bit is going to go inside there, but look, they're both exactly the same, and you're thinking, how's he going to get them in? Right, I'm going to keep that in my pocket now. Pockets is gas bottle, plumber's gas bottle. I need to explain now. I'm going to tell you the makes and models of all the tools and stuff I use. I'm going to do some YouTube videos of why I use this one or and I'm not being paid at the moment. I might get paid in the future, but right now, no endorsements, no nothing. This is from apprentice to now, my experience and what I think are good tools and worth having. So this is not a Mickey Mouse gas bottle, it's quite a good one, so the flame will be nice and constant, and the aim is to warm the end up like this. And because plastics have an inert memory, you can warm it up so as it reverts back to its floppy memory, and then you'll put the other piece of pipe inside nice and gently. And what you're going to try and aim for is, once it goes floppy, you kind of open it up on an angle like that and then slide it in. You need to slide it in about 1.5 inches, thereabouts. Doesn't need to be too far, but 1.5 inches is good. And what you'd do then, normally, you'd let it cool down and you could glue that and you've made a nice socket. But remember, you can't do this on the mechanical pipe that's cheaper and you need to tighten the fittings up. So that's what I'm going to try and do. If it's your first time, and I still do it on occasion, you get it too hot and you burn it. If you burn it, you can file it off if you're really bothered, and then it's not as noticeable, but it's still noticeable to the professional eye. Anyway, let's turn us on. So basically this is the motion we're trying to achieve now. Warming it up. And slowly, as it gets warmer now, it will go flopping. And you've got to keep moving it. If you don't keep moving it, that's when you burn it. And you're spinning the pipe and moving the flame across the end. That's the pipe. Turn it back on. The gas there, that is. Because you've got to keep moving it. And sometimes when you do these jobs, they're just jobs you wouldn't normally do with your hands and your fingers and your wrists. So they kind of start aching. It's a long time since I've done this. And hence I can feel it in my fingers. And you can just see it going a little bit there. I hope I don't run out of gas, because I didn't bring any more gas cylinders with England. I don't know if they sell these cylinders in France. That'll be an interesting one when I could start wanting that. Ah, it's starting to go a little bit now. Put that between my legs and get the right edge. And there, if you see, it's kind of going. And it's, there we go, look at that. So it's not quite deep enough, so I'm going to leave that piece in now. You've just got to be careful now that the weight of that little piece that I've put in doesn't bend it more one way or the other. But we'll keep warming it up. Now if it's too short a joint, it will more likely to leak. And the trick here is to be patient with it all while you're warming it all up. And also you want the joint to be in line really, to make a straight line. You don't want it to be kinked. Don't drop it. So if you're looking at that now, we've probably got about an inch there. So I'm just going to, a little bit more. There we go, how's that? And it's not being burnt, and as you can see from that, I'm hoping it's relatively in line with the 2 meters of pipe on the other end. Now if you let that cool, sometimes you can get a damp rag and put that on, but if you also look, I'm doing that and the end of my gas bottle's wobbling around. It's got a little Allen key, needs tightening up. Plumbers should do maintenance on the tools, shouldn't they, before they do YouTube videos? Not more professional then, wouldn't I? But then again, it will look better when it's working with shoddy tools. Anyway, so that's spinning, but it's still hot, that. So like I say, you could cool that down, but the essence now is that I'm going to pull this out when it's cooled down, and then I can put another 2 meter length into this, and that gets me 4 meters. I could glue it if I wanted to, but basically I've made a socket there, and that's going to get me from the bath to the hole, and that'll give me a waste. I'm not going to video myself drilling a hole because you don't want to see me struggling to get a hole through a big stone wall that takes 3 hours maybe for a little pipe, but needs must. But that will give me a bath in so much as I've got a drain for the water to go to. I'll still be filling the bath with a bucket and probably with the kettle for now, but as I progress I'll link my videos. So I've got a video previous to this of me getting a hot water cylinder, so I'm going to link this to that one, and we'll keep going on renovating the property, and then potentially selling it as well, and seeing what the sweat equity is that we've produced along the way and along the journey. And also I hope I'm teaching those that don't know some good DIY helps, tips and advice, I think you'd call it. Anyways, that's me for today, and I think, look at that, voila, one socket. And if I put my thumb there, you can always check the depth of your joints. So that's what we've made today, one socket, and I've shown you how to do it, and no burns. That's the perfect one. So if you're enjoying my videos, please subscribe, and I'll try and give you as many helpful and useful tips along the way. And that's us, over and out for today.